Some homes hide burdens heavier than their foundations. Mine was one of those. I'm Robert Taylor, and I'm about to share how I carried a family's unspoken pain until it shattered me. This isn't a tale of good guys or bad, just the sting of being unseen and the moment I refused to let it shape me. I grew up in a house where affection was a prize I could never win. My brother Ethan was the star, charismatic, easygoing, the kind of person who lit up a room without trying. My mother, Clara, revolved around him like a planet around the sun. "He's my reflection," she'd say, her hand resting on Ethan's arm, her gaze sliding past me. I was the ghost in the shadows, the kid who knew every squeak in the floorboards because I'd learned to move without a sound. By age 10, I could fix a wobbly table with a screwdriver, balance a budget, and fade into the background. Once, Mom's friends filled our dining room with laughter, their voices bright like a song. I spent hours arranging the table, hoping she'd notice, but when I stepped in, she brushed me off, her tone sharp. "Robert, not now." Later, she said, "You're too reserved for them. They wouldn't understand you." My father, Henry, was different. A mechanic with hands stained by grease no soap could clean. He spoke little but saw everything. When I brought home a perfect math test, he pinned it to the fridge, his quiet pride louder than Mom's exasperated sigh. "Nobody shows off grades anymore," she'd mutter. But Dad left it there, a small act of defiance. He was my tether, the one who saw me when no one else did. As we grew, the gap widened. Ethan coasted through life, his missteps softened by Mom's justifications. "He's figuring it out," she'd say when Ethan ditched another job. I built my life step by step, late nights at work, a modest apartment I earned through a loan. But every visit home made me a stranger in my own family. Mom and Ethan would talk over each other, their laughter a barrier I couldn't cross. Dad, though, always left the porch light on. "How's the city treating you?" he'd ask, pouring coffee, his voice steady like he meant every syllable. Then came the day everything shifted. Dad retired, his hands finally free of tools. He took up small projects, a bookshelf, a garden patch. We'd sit on the back steps, him pointing out the tomatoes he'd nurtured. But one morning he tripped on those steps. A small fall, a fractured hip, and nothing was the same. The man who fixed everything couldn't fix himself. Recovery was grueling, he fought, but his body failed him. A walker turned into a wheelchair. Mom couldn't handle it. "He just sits there," she whispered once, not noticing me in the doorway. Ethan nodded, glued to his phone. "It's like he's already gone." I stepped forward, my voice cutting. "He's still here." They flinched, but their distance only grew. Mom stopped cooking. Ethan avoided helping with Dad's meds, saying it was too hard. Then I found the pamphlet, glossy, promising sandy beaches and fine wine. "A quick trip," Mom said when I held it up. "Your father can't travel, obviously." My stomach churned. "Who's staying with him?" She shrugged. "You're good at this, Robert." They didn't ask. They assumed. It got worse. I'd find Dad alone, the TV flickering, his meal untouched. The caregiver, Louise, would arrive confused, saying no one updated her schedule. I called Mom once during a work break. "We're out," she said, her tone curt. Ethan texted later, "Busy, deal with it." So I did. I bathed Dad, adjusted his pillows, ignored his apologies. My life shrank to his needs while Mom and Ethan faded into their own world. 6 months in, I saw the cracks. Dad's bank statements stopped arriving. When I asked Mom, she brushed it off. "It's all online now, less clutter." But something felt off. I tried accessing his account, access denied. The bank said my name was removed. Mom and Ethan had taken control, power of attorney signed without a word to me. I overheard Mom on the phone booking a luxury spa getaway. "Charge it to the main account," she said. My blood froze. "Whose account?" I asked later. She smiled, too polished. "Your father's. It's simpler this way." I wanted to shout, but I stayed silent. I always did. Dad was fading, confined to the den, his world reduced to one window. I cut my work hours, took on more care. Louise could only do so much. Mom and Ethan were phantoms now, their lives a carousel of dinners and trips. Then came the hospital visit, a routine scan, they said, but the doctor's tone was too heavy. Pancreatic cancer, late stage, months left, not years. I didn't tell Mom or Ethan right away. I couldn't. Dad gripped my hand, his eyes saying what his voice couldn't. That night I quit my job. I cooked soft meals, read him old Western novels, memorized the rhythm of his breath. One evening I found an envelope in his desk, my name scrawled in his trembling handwriting. Inside, a letter. "Robert, you've carried too much. This is for you. Live your life. Love, Dad." Behind it, a lease for an apartment near a park, a deposit paid, and receipts for a wedding venue booked for next fall. I hadn't told him about Anna, the hospice worker who'd become my late-night confidant. We'd shared quiet moments, coffee cups warm in our hands. Dad must have noticed, planned for it. He never told Mom or Ethan, just me. Dad passed on a gray morning, his hand in mine. No final words, just a soft breath. I handled it all: calls, paperwork, the funeral. Mom and Ethan showed up late, untouched by the weight. At the service, Mom spoke like she'd known him best, her words smooth and empty. I stared at the pew, my chest tight. Afterward, they cornered me at the house. "Sign this," Ethan said, pushing a waiver across the table. "The estate's ours, power of attorney, remember?" Mom's voice was firm. "You're starting fresh, Robert." "You don't need this." I signed, my hand steady, my heart not. 10 days to move out," Mom said. I packed Dad's photo, his letter, and left. 3 days later, Mom called, her voice sharp. "The money's gone." "What did you do?" I didn't waver. "You and Ethan had control." They'd never checked the account. They didn't know Dad had spent it on me, on a future he wanted me to have. They scrambled, canceled their cruise, sold the house for less than its value. They moved to a cramped condo, no porch, no light. Ethan's post stopped. Mom's friends drifted. I didn't look back. I'm building a life now with honor in the apartment Dad chose. But I carry him with me, the man who saw me when no one else did. If you've ever felt invisible, share in the comments. What's one thing you wish someone had noticed about you? Hit subscribe if this resonated. Sometimes the ones who truly see us change everything. Thanks for watching.